You're watching KIII TV3 Corpus Christi. Regular programming will not be seen at this time, so we may bring you this 3 News special presentation. Another hurricane period is upon us, and preparation is key when making decisions for yourself and your family. Now, from the 3 News Weather Team, welcome to the 2023 Hurricane Season Special, sponsored by WellMed and by Suncoast Resources.
Hello and welcome to the 2023 KIII Hurricane Special. I'm Alan Holt.
And I'm Carly Smith.
And I'm Kristin Walla. As we prepare for another hurricane season in the coastal bend, we want you to be as prepared as possible.
Yeah, this year there are some changes to products you're probably already familiar with. We'll share those updates with you and touch on some of the most important areas of hurricane preparedness. Hurricane season runs from June through November, peaking in mid-September. That's when ocean waters are at their warmest and wind shear tends to be lowest. Hurricanes can impact the Gulf of Mexico in any month of hurricane season. However, there are no records of a hurricane hitting the Texas coast after October 16th.
The last 3 seasons have been very active with 65 named storms since 2020. 30 of those happened in that year. Each of the last 3 years we've been in a La Niña, which tends to be more favorable for storm production in the Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean, and tropical Atlantic. This year we're expecting a shift in the El Niño Southern Oscillation, trending from a La Niña to an El Niño over the course of hurricane season. When El Niño is ongoing, the waters in the equatorial eastern Pacific are warmer than average by just a degree or 2. When we see this happening, we know the trade winds in the tropics tend to be stronger than during a La Niña year, especially in the Gulf of Mexico and Western Caribbean Sea. When more wind shear is present, tropical systems have a difficult time developing and thriving. So, in El Niño years, it tends to be less active compared to La Niña. The last time we had a similar ENSO forecast was in 2018. In that year, there were 15 storms and none of them made it into the Western Gulf. Still though, slightly more active than the 30-year seasonal average. An interesting stat on El Niño in Texas: there is no record of a hurricane making landfall in Texas during an El Niño year. Because we are expecting an El Niño to develop this hurricane season, it's going to skew our forecast to slightly below average. Our KIII 2023 hurricane forecast is for 13 named storms, 6 of those reaching hurricane status and 2 becoming major hurricanes.
That would take us through the M storm, Margot, on this year's list of hurricane names. The tropical cyclone name list rotates every 6 years, meaning this list has not been used since 2017, the year Harvey hit the coastal bend. You won't find Harvey on this year's list because that name was retired for having caused significant damage and loss of life. The H storm on this list of names is now Harold. Irma, Maria, and Nate were also retired from this list back in 2017.
A storm's wind speed is the way we define the category of a hurricane. We use the Saffir-Simpson wind scale to do this. When a storm becomes a Category 3 or higher, it is considered a major hurricane. These are the strongest and most destructive storms. Simpson was a Corpus Christi native. He used the damage field from Hurricane Celia in 1970 to develop the Saffir-Simpson wind scale. The focus for these categories is on wind. Damage from other hazards like storm surge, inland flooding, and tornadoes is not included in the wind scale. And remember, deadly hazards can occur many miles away from a storm.
We'll have some examples of that after the break as we share some valuable takeaways from last year's season, plus a few changes to some of the 2023 hurricane season forecast products. Stay with us.
Our 2023 Hurricane Special will continue right after these messages from WellMed and Suncoast Resources.
WellMed, now more than ever, nothing is more important than your health. WellMed doctors have been helping patients feel their best for more than 30 years, and our healthcare approach is tailored for people with Medicare. We're in your neighborhood and ready to take care of your health. WellMed, personalized primary care with access to specialists who share our preventive care philosophy. WellMed, learn more today. Visit us at wellmedfindadoctor.com to locate one near you. WellMed, learn more today.
Suncoast Resources LLC, one of the largest wholesale petroleum marketers and emergency response providers in the nation, operating out of 20 facilities in Texas, Louisiana, New Mexico, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Oklahoma. Suncoast is the go-to company for emergency fueling response. Fuel, lubricants, DEF, potable water, propane, or related petroleum products and equipment. Suncoast is the one to call. Our 800-unit delivery fleet and 700 hazmat certified drivers are on duty 24/7. Suncoast is thrilled to announce its partnership with Realodyne LLC, the nation's largest lubricant distributor and market leader in fuel and diesel exhaust fluid. The Suncoast Realodyne merger offers significant enhancements to our customer service offerings and a footprint extending throughout the United States. Suncoast and Realodyne together, providing sensational customer care and a vast array of petroleum products and programs. Suncoast, stronger than ever. Get ready for hurricane season with Suncoast. Simply stated, Suncoast delivers.
Hi everyone, and welcome back. Hey, each year we try and take information from the previous hurricane season and apply those lessons that we learned and focus them to our area, even if we didn't have any issues. That was the case last year. It was really quiet in the western Gulf of Mexico, but devastating in the eastern Gulf.
Take Hurricane Ian. Even though the storm was very well forecast, some of Ian's most deadly impacts happened outside of the cone.
A messaging problem with the forecast cone is that it shows the probable path of the center of a tropical cyclone. The size of the storm is not considered, so deadly impacts may and usually do extend beyond the cone. These impacts can include strong winds, storm surge, flooding, and more. We'll talk more about these hazards in a few minutes. Forecast cones are created by circles placed along the forecast track. These circle diameters represent distance and are based on the last 5 years of forecast errors. The size of each circle allows 2/3 of those forecast errors to fall inside it. That means the track of a storm can be expected to remain inside of the cone 60 to 70% of the time. 3 days out, the NHC error is 99 miles. At 5 days, the error is 205 miles. Longer range forecasts have a higher error, which is why the probability circles and consequently forecast cones get wider the farther away they go from the storm. The first tropical forecast cones were issued in 1970. They only went out for 3 days. In 2001, they were expanded to include days 4 and 5. Forecast cones have significantly improved over time, thanks to advancements in technology and weather observation. You can see the downward trend in error on this graph. While more accurate forecasts are a good thing, those narrower forecast cones can make some people a little more hesitant to act when a storm comes.
As forecast confidence increased and Ian's cone narrowed toward southwestern Florida, more urgent hurricane preps and actions were necessary. And that is where there may have been a lapse in messaging with Hurricane Ian. Because the forecast cones are becoming increasingly smaller as confidence and forecast skill become better, the smaller cone cannot capture the entire spectrum of hazards a storm can produce. In the case of Ian, some locations outside of the forecast cone were in line for some of Ian's worst wind and storm surge. Were residents outside of that forecast cone prepared for the deadly 15-foot rise in sea level as storm surge moved in? It's tough to know for sure, but we do know deadly impacts happened outside of the forecast cone and over 150 people lost their lives because of the storm. To localize this scenario, we know that a forecast cone shows us where the center of a storm is forecast to go. So let's place a hypothetical hurricane and forecast cone into the South Texas Gulf Coast. If the storm were to take a track more to the south of the forecast cone, much of the worst impacts would stay inside of the forecast cone. However, if the storm were to take a track on the northern envelope of this hypothetical forecast cone, some of the storm's most impactful and deadly hazards would happen outside of the cone. The worst section of a hurricane tends to be the right front part of the storm, highlighted in the yellow box in this example. This forecast would be good on paper because the center of the storm stayed within the cone, but we need to be able to communicate the hazards of a storm beyond the forecast cone. Deadly hurricane hazards can and do happen outside of forecast cones.
Tropical cyclone hazards include strong winds, storm surge, heavy rain, flooding, lightning, and tornadoes. Remember, the only hazard that is a factor for deciding the category of a hurricane is wind. Storm surge is the abnormal rise of water produced by a storm as it is pushed toward the shore by the force of the winds in the storm. And while wind is what pushes the storm surge inland, the worst storm surge does not always correlate to the stronger category on the Saffir-Simpson scale. Hurricane Ike was a Category 2 with a 20-foot storm surge, while Hurricane Charlie was a Category 4 with an 8-foot storm surge. Storm surge does not include predicted astronomical tides. Things like the angle of approach, forward speed, size of the storm, shape of the coastline, and lunar phase can all influence how bad a storm surge is or isn't. The water is especially destructive because waves are able to travel farther inland. Impacts include large areas flooded with deep water, structural damage to buildings, sections of roads washed out, and locations becoming uninhabitable for extended periods. From Corpus Christi's perspective, the worst-case storm surge scenario is a large storm moving directly into the region between Baffin Bay and where Bob Hall Pier used to stand. Flooding due to heavy rains is the second leading cause of fatalities in tropical systems. Flooding can extend hundreds of miles inland and can persist for several days after a storm has moved on. It doesn't take a major hurricane for there to be major impacts to an area. Even a relatively weak tropical storm can dump flooding rains. Tornadoes can also occur with tropical storms and hurricanes, and they typically form in the outer bands of the storm away from the eye. They are usually weak and short-lived, but still pose a threat.
While we can only do so much to limit the damage from tropical systems, better lead times and forecasts will help us to prepare for these hurricane-related hazards. This year, there's something new with a product we show daily during tropical season, the Tropical Weather Outlooks. So instead of a 2-day and 5-day outlook, now there will be a 2-day and a 7-day outlook. These are the maps that show the probability of a tropical system developing. The hope with these new extended outlooks is that it gives us more of a heads up when there's the possibility that a tropical system could be forming or impacting a location.
In recent years, the internet becoming more popular, it's become quite common for social meteorologists to see an image of a scary-looking storm from a weather model. They'll screenshot it, share it to social media, and it catches fire. Often, this will be from a model forecast that's weeks away. Forecast modeling, it just cannot provide reliable details beyond 5 to 7 days. So, know what you are looking at and who it is coming from before reacting to a post like that. Find a source that you know and trust. Trust me, it's going to lower your stress level during hurricane season. Another thing we've started to notice is a phenomenon called anchoring. It's not what we're doing here. Anchoring that we're referring to means that you're getting attached to the first information seen and not moving off of it when data changes or shifts. This is some pro expert advice here. Forecasts, they do change, so you need to stay current with your knowledge of a storm.
A great way to stay updated on what's going on in the tropics is our website or the 3 News app. We update this at least twice a day during hurricane season. If there's something we are watching that may impact Corpus Christi or the entire coastal bend, we will update it even more. It's a fantastic place to gather the most current tropical forecast with a focus on our part of the Texas Gulf Coast. We take a lot of time to explain the why behind the forecast and give our thoughts on the situation. All you have to do is go to our website, KIIITV.com. Under the Weather tab, navigate to the Hurricane Central link, and you can stay up to date on active storms with written and video forecasts from the KIII Weather Team. We highly encourage you to check it out. Local hazards like dangerous surf and rip currents will be highlighted in our tropical forecast even when a hurricane is hundreds of miles away from Corpus Christi. After the break, we'll head to the beach and learn about some of those dangers from local surfers.
Don't go away. There's more important hurricane information right after this message from WellMed and Suncoast Resources.
Suncoast Resources LLC, one of the largest wholesale petroleum marketers and emergency response providers in the nation, operating out of 20 facilities in Texas, Louisiana, New Mexico, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Oklahoma. Suncoast is the go-to company for emergency fueling response. Fuel, lubricants, DEF, potable water, propane or related petroleum products and equipment. Suncoast is the one to call. Our 800-unit delivery fleet and 700 hazmat certified drivers are on duty 24/7. Suncoast is thrilled to announce its partnership with Relodyne LLC, the nation's largest lubricant distributor and market leader in fuel and diesel exhaust fluid. The Suncoast Relodyne merger offers significant enhancements to our customer service offerings and a footprint extending throughout the United States. Suncoast and Relodyne together, providing sensational customer care and a vast array of petroleum products and programs. Suncoast, stronger than ever. Get ready for hurricane season with Suncoast. Simply stated, Suncoast delivers.
WellMed. Now more than ever, nothing is more important than your health. WellMed doctors have been helping patients feel their best for more than 30 years, and our healthcare approach is tailored for people with Medicare. We're in your neighborhood and ready to take care of your health. WellMed, personalized primary care with access to specialists who share our preventive care philosophy. WellMed. Learn more today. Visit us at wellmedfindadoctor.com to locate one near you. WellMed. Learn more today.
You're watching our 2023 Hurricane Special, sponsored by WellMed and Suncoast Resources.
I really enjoyed learning to surf here at JP Luby, but when there's a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico, conditions can quickly become very dangerous.
The water movement, the surge, it's powerful.
In 2020, Hurricane Laura made landfall in Cameron, Louisiana. There were 2 surf-related fatalities, one more than 500 miles away from the eye of the storm. That was St. George Island, Florida. The other one about 300 miles away, and it was right here in Corpus Christi.
If there's something going on in the Gulf and you decide to go to the beach that day, whether you're surfing or not, you have to be very, very aware of what's happening around you.
Leah Murray has been riding waves since college and now works as a surf instructor.
It's not just children. We've had grown men get pulled out by this rip. If you can just imagine, if it's 3 foot today and in a hurricane it's 8 to 10 foot, that energy is rolling over and then sucking out.
As the waves get larger and the periods become longer, the rip current will only get stronger.
Without a hurricane, the rip current is very dangerous and very deceiving. You don't know it's there. With a hurricane, it's detrimental.
In 2009, the only deaths related to tropical cyclones were drownings from rip currents or large waves.
Hurricanes, it defines the wave more, so we actually get real waves where we get to see the wave the way you would see it in the Pacific.
Waves are generated by wind creating friction over the water. This builds up energy in the water that starts to roll with the wind. The stronger the wind, the higher the swell is. The forecast for a typhoon in the Pacific Ocean in May had 8 to 12 foot swells well over 1,000 miles from the eye of the storm.
It shoots out these swells, right? These lines of waves towards us, and it's cleaner, whereas if it hits you directly, that's not the case, right? It's crazy.
The clean sets of rolling waves is what makes it appealing to try to surf hurricane swells. But it's not always going to be what you expect.
There's been multiple times I've paddled out and just turned around. Yeah, because it doesn't feel good to feel scared out there at all.
If you get out there and you don't see anyone, it's better not to surf.
So even if we don't directly experience a storm, it can still send us those larger waves and rip currents from across the Gulf of Mexico. But if a storm is more threatening to us, we'll start to get more hazards, including wind. Once winds get to hurricane force or 74 miles per hour, you need to be protecting your windows. Keep in mind that debris can damage your home even at lower wind speeds. Whether or not hurricane conditions are expected for a specific forecast area is often not definite until a day or two before the storm hits. So it's going to be one of the first things you want to prepare for and one of the last things you want to complete before a storm hits. So how exactly do you board up your windows? We got some help from the pros.
Hey there, y'all. We're out here at Evans Glass Service, and we want to show you why it's so important to board up your home, not only for the winds in a storm when it's headed your way, but also for the debris. So this is what happens when you leave your windows unprotected. There's glass everywhere, it's shattered. That's going to go into your home as well as rain and debris.
Installing the boards into your windows will help mitigate the chances of any debris going through your home.
Christopher Evans is the vice president of Evans Glass Service. The company's been helping people prepare their homes for hurricanes for over 30 years. He said one way to protect your home is to have hurricane-rated windows installed. Another easier and cheaper option is to board up the windows.
It's as simple as lifting it up and put some pressure on it, and the installation is complete.
After measuring the board to fit the window, Evans's team uses ply lock clips to secure the board in front of it. Once the storm is gone, the board can be removed and the clips can be reused for the next hurricane. Evans said this system prevents damaging your home caused by drilling into the window frame.
People will go and board up their windows, and then a few days later when they remove them, their windows are actually leaking because of this.
It's recommended to board up, even if you have hurricane-rated windows. He said boarding up creates a barrier, lowering the chance of wind and debris coming through your home. Get supplies to protect your home sooner rather than later to make sure you have what you need before they run out. Evans said for an average home, boarding up costs $1,000. That's the same price as installing just one hurricane-rated window.
It's a quick solution, boarding up your home, and it's cost-effective and efficient, and it works.
Kristin Walla, 3 News.
Once your home is prepped for a storm, sometimes storms can become too strong or dangerous, and evacuations are ordered. While we never want to evacuate, sometimes it's a necessary action you need to take to survive a storm.
Hey Alan, I was curious. How do you know when to evacuate if there's a hurricane coming?
Well, do you know your evacuation route?
I don't.
I got just the guy to talk to.
Get in, let's go see him. We headed over to talk to Billy Delgado, the emergency management coordinator for the city of Corpus Christi.
How are the evacuation zones divided up in Corpus Christi?
Oasis County, we've all developed a zone to make sure that the most vulnerable leave first.
There are 5 evacuation zones within the city of Corpus Christi, and it all starts with this right here, Zone A1, highlighted in pink. That's the island, and from there, you move into the inner part of the city where you have zones A2, A3, B, and C. The A zones are the most vulnerable to storm surge.
We also don't want to forget about North Beach area. Low-lying areas, we want to make sure that they evacuate as soon as possible also.
If someone is maybe elderly or they don't have a vehicle or don't have transportation, how is someone like that going to be able to leave if an evacuation is called?
All they would have to do is dial 211, and that gets them on a list that we know that they're a vulnerable population, and that helps us in our planning of how many transit buses that we might need.
When the time comes, it's one of those all-hands-on-deck situations that includes various organizations like the CCRTA.
All anyone needs to do is that if they need a ride out of town and they don't have transportation out of town, is catch their nearest bus stop. That's all they have to do. RTA does not charge. You can bring your luggage, you can bring your pets.
So when we're trying to figure out where to go to when evacuating, I guess it's a good idea to have a couple of different options.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You don't want to get stuck on just one possibility of, where you leave if a storm hits us. What you want to be sure that you know is where the storm's going to go after it hits Corpus Christi. So if one comes into town and then goes north to San Antonio or Houston, you want to go west or south toward Laredo or the Valley. You don't want to go where the storm's going.
Either way, now is the time to come up with your plan. Another resource, the reverse alert system, so you can get updates like whether or not an evacuation has been ordered during a hurricane.
Anybody that would like those alerts, we'll put them out. reversealert.org, self-opt-in. You can register for whatever alerts you want.
We're not done just yet. Stay with us and we'll share our final thoughts about the upcoming hurricane season right after this.
Don't go away. There's more important hurricane information right after this message from WellMed and Suncoast Resources.
WellMed, now more than ever, nothing is more important than your health. WellMed doctors have been helping patients feel their best for more than 30 years, and our healthcare approach is tailored for people with Medicare. We're in your neighborhood and ready to take care of your health. WellMed, personalized primary care with access to specialists who share our preventive care philosophy. WellMed, learn more today. Visit us at wellmedfindadoctor.com to locate one near you. WellMed, learn more today.
Suncoast Resources LLC, one of the largest wholesale petroleum marketers and emergency response providers in the nation, operating out of 20 facilities in Texas, Louisiana, New Mexico, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Oklahoma. Suncoast is the go-to company for emergency fueling response. Fuel, lubricants, DEF, potable water, propane or related petroleum products and equipment. Suncoast is the one to call. Our 800-unit delivery fleet and 700 hazmat certified drivers are on duty 24/7. Suncoast is thrilled to announce its partnership with Relodyne LLC, the nation's largest lubricant distributor and market leader in fuel and diesel exhaust fluid. The Suncoast Relodyne merger offers significant enhancements to our customer service offerings and a footprint extending throughout the United States. Suncoast and Relodyne together, providing sensational customer care and a vast array of petroleum products and programs. Suncoast, stronger than ever. Get ready for hurricane season with Suncoast. Simply stated, Suncoast delivers.
You're watching our 2023 Hurricane Special, sponsored by WellMed and Suncoast Resources.
The most important thing is making sure you are prepared. A hurricane is more than just a satellite image that's showing that organized eye wall. The forecast is more than just a cone. What's important is making sure you understand all of those potential hazards that are headed your way, so you can make the best judgment call. And that's why we are passionate about writing that in-depth forecast on our website, and it's why the National Hurricane Center is improving the forecast cone and adding additional lead time to those potential tropical developments.
We can't emphasize enough the importance of preparing in advance. Remember to stay calm and choose your sources of information wisely. We'll be with you every step of the way.
It's impossible to cover every single aspect of hurricane preparedness condensed down into a 30-minute hurricane special. But if we helped you to maybe think of something in your own preparation that you may not have thought of before, then we'll consider that a win. It's our mission to arm you with the best and most current information we can to help you be prepared as possible during hurricane season. That's going to wrap things up. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and remember, it only takes one.
Protecting yourselves and others. You've been watching the 2023 Hurricane Season Special from the 3 News Weather Team, sponsored by WellMed and by Suncoast Resources. From all of us at KIII 3 News, we thank you for watching and stay safe.
Suncoast Resources LLC, one of the largest wholesale petroleum marketers and emergency response providers in the nation, operating out of 20 facilities in Texas, Louisiana, New Mexico, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Oklahoma. Suncoast is the go-to company for emergency fueling response. Fuel, lubricants, DEF, potable water, propane or related petroleum products and equipment. Suncoast is the one to call. Our 800-unit delivery fleet and 700 hazmat certified drivers are on duty 24/7. Suncoast is thrilled to announce its partnership with Relodyne LLC, the nation's largest lubricant distributor and market leader in fuel and diesel exhaust fluid. The Suncoast Relodyne merger offers significant enhancements to our customer service offerings and a footprint extending throughout the United States. Suncoast and Relodyne together, providing sensational customer care and a vast array of petroleum products and programs. Suncoast, stronger than ever. Get ready for hurricane season with Suncoast. Simply stated, Suncoast delivers.
WellMed, now more than ever, nothing is more important than your health. WellMed doctors have been helping patients feel their best for more than 30 years, and our healthcare approach is tailored for people with Medicare. We're in your neighborhood and ready to take care of your health. WellMed, personalized primary care with access to specialists who share our preventive care philosophy. WellMed, learn more today. Visit us at wellmedfindadoctor.com to locate one near you. WellMed. Learn more today.